If you're currently dropshipping using AliExpress, I'm going to show you and put you on to 3 different alternatives that you can use immediately. Let's get right into it. Now this video is going to be very no fluff, straight to the point. The 3 sources that I suggest, and the reason why I want to make it just very to the point, is number 1, video length. I don't want this to be too long. And number 2, to get across the points that I want to share with you, they're really simple as to 3 different sources. It's nothing much to it. However, this is a great alternative to AliExpress. However, AliExpress is kind of the king over here, but there's other sources that you can use for faster shipping, better product quality. One of the biggest reasons why I like some of these sources is because of the fact that the shipping time is faster than AliExpress. You can actually pay for faster shipping. You can do the same thing in AliExpress. However, it's pretty interesting because of the fact that, again, faster shipping, I'm not talking just like 2-3 days. I'm talking 7 days, anywhere from like 4 to 7 days. You can get shipping, but it will be a little bit more expensive. And I'll talk about exactly how you can go out there and justify that extra shipping cost, and how you can go ahead and, more than anything, kind of have that cost incurred into the product sale price, as well as the shipping rate that you end up charging your customer to help offset the extra costs. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is cross-referencing. These sources are great for cross-referencing your products that you find on AliExpress or find on other resources such as thieve.co. So if you want to go ahead and research your particular product on these other sites and other sources for suppliers, by all means, I would highly suggest doing that so you can find the best price and also better quality products as well. So let's dive into the resources that I highly suggest. One of the resources I suggest is Banggood. Now this is one that has been around for a long while now, same amount of time as AliExpress. However, they also accept PayPal for those people that are wondering if you're able to go ahead and have a source that provides PayPal. Banggood does allow you to pay via PayPal. And the coolest part about Banggood is that you have the ability to go out there and choose the shipping rate that you want. Again, some items are very, very fast when it comes to shipping if you pay extra. Some items might be $10, $20, $30, $40 extra for shipping. And again, it really depends on the shipping times that you want to go ahead and nail. So if you want to have like 2 to 7 days, you're going to be expecting to pay a higher premium and definitely a higher shipping cost to get those products delivered to your customers rather fast. So just kind of keep that in mind. The other thing about Banggood is that they don't have the same variety that AliExpress has. There's a lot of different products on Banggood that aren't necessarily on AliExpress. So you have the ability to go out there and look at different products and different suppliers and get new ideas as well. And just keep in mind that you should definitely be doing research across different platforms as you're constantly going out there and looking for new products to sell. So Banggood.com is definitely one that I would highly suggest going out there and adding to your arsenal to find other products. Next up, we have Taobao. Now, the interesting thing about Taobao is that, number 1, the entire site is in Mandarin. And the other, again, I think it's Mandarin. I'm going to look really stupid if it's not. So I'm just waiting for somebody in the comments to correct me. But anyway, the entire site is not in English. That's how I'm going to refer to it from now on. But the really cool thing about this is it's a business to consumer rather than business to business. AliExpress, DHgate, they know that dropshippers like us are coming onto their site and purchasing for other people. However, this one is more so from an actual manufacturer, supplier, directly to the consumer. And more than likely, the actual manufacturer is sending the product to the consumer. So what's really cool about this is the fact that you're able to go on a site like Taobao and be able to see products that are fresh, new, and the highest of quality. So Taobao has the highest of quality products, which is really, really important for you to understand. Now, there's 2 things that you need to know. Number 1, they are owned by the Alibaba group. So AliExpress, Alibaba, Taobao, all owned under the same exact e-commerce giants. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind right now. And the second thing is that in order to dropship successfully with Taobao, this is where things become a little bit complicated, is that you actually have to reach out to the supplier first and make sure that you're able to dropship. Since again, don't forget, like I mentioned when I started talking about this, is that Taobao is a business to consumer, not a business to business. So they typically deliver, it's basically like Amazon for mainland China, if you will. So just kind of keep it, in the back of your mind at all given times that you want to make sure that the supplier is okay with you drop shipping the item before you go ahead and start drop shipping from them. So really quickly, I just wanted to add this in here in case anybody wants to know how to quickly translate a page. For example, if you're on a site like Taobao, how exactly do you translate this if it doesn't auto-translate? You're going to want to right-click on the page if you're using Google Chrome and just click Translate to English. And then it's going to go ahead and translate everything for you in English. Now, the only problem that we're going to face is that it's not a perfect translation, right? So again, Taobao might not be a resource for everybody because of the fact that you have to really know what you're looking for, what the buttons mean, pretty much how it flows and all of that. So again, it's just a resource that you can use. It's not the best because of how it's laid out and how complicated it is to use it to translate, but it is an option for those of you, and I do know I have some followers and some customers as well that are located in China that you guys can use this as well, and obviously you won't need to translate. But for those of you that want to take a look and want to get onto Taobao to translate, be my guest. This is how you do it. Lastly, what I would recommend is making sure you're using Google Chrome for the auto translator so it can have the page translated for you so you know exactly what you're going through and what's happening on that particular page. So again, really quickly, Taobao is a great source for you to use. Definitely one that I would suggest. I personally have not gone out there and used Taobao for any of my businesses, but I do know one particular person who's doing roughly anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 a day who's using Taobao. However, to his defense, he is also selling his products in countries such as Singapore. He does sell in China. So he kind of has this little advantage play, if you will. And I haven't necessarily tested it, but I also have heard other people use it for USA. I have used DHgate. I haven't used Taobao. I've used AliExpress. And I have used the next one we're about to start talking about. So I realized I just mentioned DHgate, and yes, DHgate is the last one. So I've used Banggood, DHgate, AliExpress, pretty much anything under Ali Group except Taobao in order to drop ship successfully. And yes, I've even drop shipped successfully from Alibaba, which is a whole different video in itself. So again, when it comes down to another source, DHgate, I truly do believe is one that a lot of people know, and it also goes tit for tat with AliExpress. Two things to note here. That they are very competitive with AliExpress. They typically have the same exact products for a little bit cheaper on DHgate. So just kind of keep that in mind, is that DHgate definitely head-to-head competitor, one-to-one competitor with AliExpress. More than likely, the same exact products you find on AliExpress are the same exact ones you can find on DHgate, a little bit more discounted, and they're very, very drop shipping friendly. So is AliExpress, for the record. So they're very drop shipping friendly over at DHgate. The suppliers are more than willing to work with you, and that's one thing you have to keep in mind, is that if you find a source where suppliers are willing to work with you, that's a very, very good sign. Because a lot of times suppliers, they're not like the best to work with, but they're not difficult either. You need to know how to talk to them, what times to communicate, because again, keep in mind, Chinese suppliers have different time zones than if you're in New York, for example, or California. So you need to really know the time zones, and being able to work with those suppliers from over there, you have to really time it correctly. And lastly, what I would recommend with DHgate is to compare prices on AliExpress, because you want to make sure that you're getting a better deal with DHgate compared to AliExpress, and because if not, just go ahead and use AliExpress if you're not getting a better deal on DHgate. But don't forget, those are exactly just some of the resources that we can go ahead and use in order to find different dropshipping products. Now, really quickly, here's some other resources that you can use. We have DealExtreme or DX.com. Again, another great dropshipping location, and is the same layout as Banggood, as AliExpress, and you can use it in the same exact way. So again, if we were to just click into, let's go into tools, it'll work the same exact way as AliExpress does and all of the other dropshipping locations that we can use. We have Wholesale Central. This is interesting because it provides us with a lot of different wholesale providers that we can use immediately if we go ahead and obviously broker deals. Can you dropship with some of them? Yes, you absolutely can. And then we have Fragrance Net. Again, this is more so than anything discounted fragrances from certain sellers, and you can drop ship these. So if you're selling fragrances on your store, you can drop ship these, because again, you can see it's 40% off, 52% off, so half of the cost, you can drop ship these. Then we have something like Cutting Edge Products. This is more so for security-based products like you see right over here. the leading manufacturer, a wholesaler of innovative security products, first aid products, and then you have survival gear, we have pet store, and again, you have dollar days also, which is a bunch of products that are $1 that you can sell in your particular store as well. But again, make sure you're using correct products that solve problems and correct products that will actually make sales. Because if you're just selling, socks and some hand sanitizer, you're not going to make that much money. Right? So again, the product needs to be unique, needs to go ahead and solve a problem, and it can't be easily found at a local dollar store or a local CVS. Keep that in mind. To recap, we have Banggood, Taobao, and DHgate as alternatives for AliExpress. If you want to learn exactly how I went out there and turned a brand new dropshipping store into a $702,000 store in less than 3 months, take a look at this video right over here. Dan Fam Notification Squad, make sure you subscribe with notifications, and I'll see you tomorrow.